everyone, it's Laura from Laura's Handcrafted Treats and Treasures. Welcome to or back to my channel. All right, what do I have on my desk today? Well, we're going to be making a little project. I'm sort of starting a little bit of a Christmas series, little gifts that you can make when you need something real quick to give to a friend, or maybe someone's bringing someone to Christmas dinner that you didn't know and you want to have a little gift for them. I'm going to sort of start this series that will help you with a few little gifts and treat ideas. So the first one, they're not going to be in any rhyme or reason. It's just going to be whatever hits me at the time. Like, oh, I'm going to do this one. So the first one I'm doing is a little coffee Keurig Ghirardelli container that I make, and I use them and to sell at my craft shows. So in front of me, I have Carolyn's Musings Christmas vintage papers, and I have used these before in other projects, and I have actually printed these two to a page. I could have done one full page, but for what the project that I'm doing, I really wanted to have a slimmer or smaller look to the graphics on the page. So I have done them two to a page to give me a smaller graphic. Now I don't get as much as you're going to see panels that I'm going to need as if I were to do a full sheet, but I do get the effect of the smaller items, and I like that effect, so I'm going to stick with it. Okay, so I have printed two of the exact same one to this sheet and two of the exact same one to this sheet, and then when I went to this sheet, I printed one of each, because this coordination here will give me two of the boxes, and I will be able to do all of the panels and the lid that I'm going to need. You're going to see that in just a minute, so stick with me. It'll all make sense. And the same here. So I wanted to have extra so I can make a couple of each, or just have them in my stash for the next show or even next year. All right, so I'm going to move that aside. And what we are making is going to end up looking like this. Let me move those out of the way so you can see a little bit better. Once you get them put together, there is going to be two little Ghirardellis that go in the top, and there's going to be Keurig cups that go in the bottom. And this is what I was talking about for panels. So that'll make more sense as we get to cutting. All right. So let's start with the base. Now you can do any base that you want. I am going to do these black. I think that these are going to be perfect for black. So I'm going to do those on black, but because black is hard to see, I am going to do one on the craft cardstock paper. All right, so I'm going to bring this over here. This is my template, my go by, and I save it. I suggest if you want to do these and you like making them and you want to make more, make yourself a template. It just makes life much easier. So the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to kind of let you get a screenshot of that, if you can make out my little lingo here, but I'm going to walk you through it. So I have cut out a 10 1/4 by a 8 1/2, which if you're in American letter size, it's already 8 1/2 this way. So then you just have to cut it down, which I've already done, to 10 1/4. I'm sorry, 10 1/4. All right, once we do that, we're going to get the scoreboard. Okay, with your scoreboard, now I'm having this facing me because this is comfortable for me. I'll turn it this way so you can see what I've done once I've gotten my scores, if it helps you. But for me, this is comfortable for me to score this way and not have to try to hold the paper and pull it toward me. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my template. And I know that I'm going to score 2, 4, 6, and 8. And that's going to leave me my little quarter lip. So 2, 4, 6 and 8. Okay, so it's 2, 4, 6, and 8. Okay, now I'm going to turn my paper this way. So I'm on the 10 1/4 inch side. Now we're going to start our first score at the bottom, and this is 2 inches. So I'm going to score my 2 inches. Then I am going to score at 5 3/4. And when I do these, I do a lot of bases at the same time and just get them done. So the numbers kind of stay in my head and I can just flip through it really fast. So 5 3/4. Now here's where you're going to want to flip, because those cracker boxes, it's going to go down. You want to make sure that you're flipping to get your mountain and your valley. And you're going to go to 6 1/4. Okay, 6 1/4. Then I'm going to flip again, and I'm going to go to 6 3/4. And I'm kind of looking at my little guide here. In fact, I'm going to set it up where I can just easily look up and see it. 6 3/4. Okay, once we get there, we're going to go up to 7 3/4. 7 3/4. Now this is where it's going to get just a tiny bit tricky. Not terrible, but a tiny bit tricky. This is going to be our lid, and we don't want score marks through our lid. We want this to be clean. So what we're going to do is I am going to score up to 9 3/4. Pull this down just a little bit. 9 3/4, and I'm only going to that first score line that I already did. And this is why you want to do your 2 inches first. 2, 2, 2, 2. You want to do those first. Then I'm going to come over here, and I have made myself a little mark because this mark is going to be at 8 1/2. And instead of trying to get past this and make sure I'm getting my 8 1/2, I just soon start at this end. So I've made myself a little mark there, and I know that I'm at 8 1/2. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to double check. Got my wide one, yeah. And I do this slow until I get up there, and then I'll drag it back through, okay? Turn it this way if it makes it easier. But you can see I've left my blank ones, and there you have it. All right, so now what we're going to do, we're going to grab our envelope punch board. Now, you may have a punch, and you may be able to do this with a different punch, but this is the way I learned to do it, and I'm going to use my envelope punch board. So the first thing I want to do, though, is I'm going to fold all of my 2-inch score lines and my 1/2 inch that very first time around. And I may have to stand up for this because sometimes it gets a little hard to push on the punch board for me. All right, so in between these 2 lines, okay, we are going to put this right in the center. All right, and we are going to center that, and it usually ends up to be about 4 down here, but just eyeball it right here for your center. It'll come out, I promise. And go ahead and punch. Fold. To that next one, kind of center it and punch. Fold it back, get it to the center, and if you haven't guessed, that's right, you have to punch. Okay, then we're gonna get that last one, and you are going to put one at the end here. It'll all line up, but you do need that one at the end. Okay. I like to do that before I do my folds this way. It just seems to make it easier, and the paper's a little more sturdy for me to work with. So, all right. Okay. Now, before I get to folding up this way, because you're just gonna want to go to town. You're just gonna want to get it folded, right? But if you just get folding, you're gonna end up probably folding across that nice clean line. I've done this before. Ask me how I know. That's how I know. And so I have learned to immediately, we're going to cut some pieces off before we start the fold. That's going to remind me I'm not going to want to fold up here. Well, I should say, yeah, these will get cut away. So let me see here. I'm just going to lay this out, because we're going to cut away, cut away, cut away, cut away, cut away, and cut away. So we have these spots here that we are going to cut away. And I'm going to do that first. Now, you don't want to go too far in over here, because you want to keep your lid sort of smooth. So just go on the other side of that score line, straight down. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go up a little bit on this side. But I am going to go straight down on this side. So when I get ready to do this, I can simply just cut straight across. And you can turn it over. I think I'm going to turn it over, because I think I can get a better cut. So whichever way it works for you. Because I can get just beyond that score line. And I'm going to go right to the end and get that little smidgen out. So I have not done anything with my score, but while I'm at it, I'm going to continue down. I'm going to continue down this side, and then I might take just a teeny weeny little notch out of that. All right, so I'm keeping that one, and I'm keeping that one. So again, I'm going to go ahead and cut down just on the other side of the score line, just to here. You don't want to get rid of this, just to here. And same on this side. And then we're going to go ahead and get rid of that. And I might be a little more taking my time at doing this, because this is going to be something I'm selling at my craft show. All right, so we have those done. Now you can go ahead and slit these, but we're going to get to that. And I forgot to say this piece is going to go bye-bye too. This one right here will go bye-bye. So I'll just go ahead and get rid of that one right now as well. Okay, so now I am going to go ahead and fold, and then I'm going to fold. So I have folded my 2-inch, I have folded my 5 3/4, and then remember how we turned it? We're going to turn it and get that little middle fold. Okay, and then we're going to turn it and get this fold. Okay, and then since these are now separated, we don't have to worry about anything in there getting folded along with these pieces. We're going to fold, fold, and fold. And then we're going to fold that little top piece down. And then you can go ahead and, if you like, which I like to do, I like to just use my chomper. I use the small end and curve them corners. Okay, so you should end up with this. Okay, now we're going to take those out. And this is because we're going to need to fold that bottom up. And I'm literally just going to do a little sliver on each side of that score line. And then when I do these, I just do them in an assembly line, and I make all the papers, then I do all the scoring, then I punch out with the punch board, then I do the folding and cutting, then I do the papers, which we're going to get to. And so yeah, I just do it like in a little assembly line fashion. Okay, and then we have what we need to make our little box. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to give you the measurements for what we're going to cut out. And you can do this with scrapbook paper. You can do this with, like I said, full sheets of any kind of digital paper that you cut out. So here are the measurements, and they're sort of in the middle of my little sheet. So it says DSP, which would be designer series paper, but this isn't designer series paper. That's a Stampin' Up! Logo. And that's what I happened to use the first time around when I was doing them. So pretty paper, just put pretty paper. So we're going to make the long panels. With that, we're going to need some small panels. So if you follow the formula I'm about to give you, you will get everything you need if you do it this way out of this paper. So, and then we're going to need a top. So our first panel is going to be 3 5/8 by 1 7/8. So let's cut our first sheet. All right, I know I have a lot here, so I'm not going to be too afraid if I cut in a little bit. I'm going to try to get it as close as possible. But if I take a little bit off, I'm not going to be too nervous about it. Okay, so we'll just get this all cut down. Oops, something went wonky. I'm going to try from this side. I think something went wonky. I don't know if it's the paper or the way I'm setting it in here. Okay, let's try it this way. And get all my edges off. Yeah, I must have done something not quite right on that side. So I'm going to work with this piece right now. I think it's the way it came out of my printer, to be honest, but we're going to square that up. It'll be fine. Like I said, I'll have extra, so. Okay. Let me go ahead and get this set cut, and I'll be right back. Okay, those are all done. So what I am going to do is I'm going to cut my 1 7/8 first. I'm going to cut all my panels I need for 1 7/8. And so you're going to find the 7/8 is the next largest mark on my scoreboard anyway, right past the 3/4. In between those are 16ths. This is the 7/8. And I know people don't like to work in 8ths. I didn't either, but everything was in 8ths that people were doing. So I had to learn. I had to teach myself how to figure out them 8ths. So I'm going to go 1, 2, and And this is why I needed another sheet plus, because I need 4 panels, and this only gives me 3. Now these, don't throw away. Oh, no, no. That is not a scrap. That is going to be used in another video, and we're going to make something out of that. So I'm going to go ahead and continue 1 7/8. 1 7/8. So this gives me my 4 panels for the first box. There's 2. Hang on to the scrap. And then we're going to take the third one, and we're going to need 1, 2, and 3. All right, so now I have the 4 panels, and there is a reason I'm separating them, because I'm keeping them there. This one, it doesn't matter, but I'm going to, again, turn it and do 1 and, wait a minute, 1 7/8. I knew that didn't look right. 1 7/8, and another one at 1 7/8. And I'm going to save that because I got an idea for that too. All right, so this gives me my top panel for the cover for each side, and then my 4 panels. I'm going to set these aside and just work with these right now so it's less confusing. So once I get those done, and you don't have to be persnickety about this, but I'm going to be a little persnickety about this because I want to match my graphics up, especially, these are small and it probably wouldn't matter, but sometimes the bigger they are, you'll see, because I have another set already cut and ready to go. So I'm first going to turn it this way, and I need a small panel at 7/8, 1 7/8 by 7/8. So I'm going to do my 7/8. I'm going to set that there. I'm going to turn my paper around, and then this is where I'm going to do 3 5/8. So that's going to be after your 1/2 inch mark. It's not the tiny marks. It's the next biggest one is your 5/8. Let me double check my measurements. Check twice, cut once. I'm not going to save that. Ah, I fooled you, thought I was. The reason I'm doing it this way is that when I get ready to lay my panels, they're going to go in order together. So I'm going to get the rest of these cut up. I'll do one more with you. 7/8. Turn. 3 5/8. Is it overkill? Maybe, but I want my product to look good, and that's how I feel like I need to do it to make it look good. So I'm going to get these finished up. Okay, so I have all my pieces ready to go. At this point, I'm going to go through and I'm going to ink up every one of these pieces. If I'm working in assembly line, I will have a lot of these and I will get them inked up. And each set, when I get done inking them, I will put them all together, and then I will lay the next set on top so I know these are all going to match, which I've done here. So let's just pull these in, and this is going to be my top. Now I know this first layer is, I've matched them all up to the way I cut them. There's my second one. It's the exact same thing, but, oh no, it's a little bit different. That's what I tried to do. I tried to lay them in different styles so that I wouldn't get them mixed up. But I have everything laid exactly on top so that they all match up. Now, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and bring in my black one that we just did. And the first thing I'm going to do is, I noticed on some of these, I did not cut that little notch out. So you can do it after it's done, but it makes it harder. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done super quick. There we go. All right, and let's see, did I fold this one? Oh, I guess I didn't do the folding on that one either. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. Get that folded. I'm gonna turn it and get that middle folded the opposite way. See how much harder it is? And this is why I said you wanna kind of start doing your folding before you cut, but it'll work. I can make it work. We can make it work as crafters, right? We're gonna find it. We're gonna find a way to make it work. I think I'm just gonna get my bone folder out and press that a little bit. And then I have this one, and this one. Okay, all right, so now we're gonna start laying our pieces, okay? The first thing I do so that I don't get laying the pieces and then I'm like, oh no, I have that upside down. Ask me how I know. Okay, first thing I do is I turn this around. When this is assembled, this is going to be facing my front, and I want to make sure that this is facing me. Okay, I want it to be upside right, not upside down. So I'm going to start gluing. And then I'm just going to get this right in the center above the score lines and with a little teeny weeny little border. It's probably not even a 1/16 of an inch. I'm going to get that glued. Package is facing me. Good to go. Now I'm going to turn it around, and if I've kept all my pieces correct, see how they're going to match up? All right, so I'm going to go through and I'm going to get all of those glued down. And they're all going to be glued down, and then we'll come back. And here we are, all of our pieces matching. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to turn this piece in, and we are going to glue here. So let's get this glued up. Now, if you want to make a bunch of these boxes and have them just ready to go, you can leave them just like this, leave them flat, and then when you're ready to use them, then you can assemble them and get them ready to sit up straight. So once we do that, we've got our little fold here. And this is why we do the folds for a mountain or a valley, because this is your cracker. It's your cracker box. And some of you will know what I'm talking about because you've probably made them. So at this point, we want to get this all together. And I like to glue back first. I always want my front, my smooth edge, to be this way. So I just put a little bit of glue on the back, this, and then I just set the next one down. But before I like push it really hard, I just sort of get it in there, and then I make sure it's flat, it's sitting flat, and then I take my bone folder or whatever you can get down in there, kind of push it down, and then you have your little Keurig coffee cup. All right, so we're gonna put a little embellishment, a little something on the front, and we're gonna finish this off. I'll be back. All right, so I have my little coffee box all done. Now you can embellish this any way you like. You can also, you know, if you have little stickers or little embellishments, but Carolyn also has an ATC set I don't remember the exact name, but that'll also be linked in the description box below. And what I did was, there in the set, there are like big circles. I want to say like there are 3-inch circles, and I took 2 to a page and then printed them as 5x7s. So when they came out, then they came out almost, I believe, to a 2-inch. And then she has a smaller set, and again, I did it 2 to a page, but I did them in the 5x7 format. Now, I know some people don't know how to do all this stuff, and if you would like a little tutorial, I'll explain it as best I can. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll do a tutorial on that, on how to get these smaller prints. But so the first one I did was, I can find it now. There it is. Okay. So this was from this. It says, wise men still seek him. And then I just backed it on a smaller, I have a circle die cut set. So I had a smaller one and then the bigger black one. And then I would raise that up on some foam dots. And then maybe put a little bit of something across here. Some sort of a saying, like you could do blessings or something like that. Look through your stash. You might have something. I'll see if I have something. So then when I printed this out, I was like, oh, I don't know. I kind of like this size bigger. It makes a statement. And I like this one too. But this one looks nice too. But I thought, well, I'm gonna punch one out and see kind of how that goes. But this will not go in far enough, I know for sure. So I'm just gonna get a little closer to that so that I can get in there with my punch. And let's see. Yep, it's about a 2-inch. It's gonna leave a little tiny little white border, but that doesn't matter to me because that's going to be covered up. And so let's punch that out. And who knows, I might like the first one. Oh, yeah, I do. I like the size of that one. All right, so we have this done. And I ended up putting a little star on the top. And I put the wise men still seek him. I did raise them up on little foam dots. And then we're going to open this up. And then I have my caramel pecan puree, which is so yummy with some French vanilla cream. Very good, very good. I'm going to go ahead and pop them in there. And then I'm going to put my Ghirardelli. And on the top, you could also put York peppermint patties. I think a couple of those would fit in there. Or whatever you can see that would fit. But this, I sort of designed this to fit this way. Now this was, my idea came from somebody else. I just tweaked it. I don't think she's on YouTube anymore. Her name was Angelia from Intertwined Design, and I used to just love these type of Keurig things that she would come up with. And then after that, I see my Ghirardelli's kind of sticking out a little bit. Maybe I'll flip those back up so they're not sticking out the ends. I'll flip them this way. Yeah, well, I guess it doesn't matter. They're going to flip out there, but that's okay. All right, so I'm going to put that one in there. And then you can go ahead and tie a ribbon around, baker's twine. I thought the silver ribbon would be good, but I actually liked this one the best. It's like a little, like a raffia. So I'm going to go ahead and get a nice chunk of that. And I got this off of Amazon a long, long time ago. It's going to last me forever. And then go ahead and tie a little bow. Which I'm not the best at bows. And don't pull too tight here. You want it tight, but you don't want to cut through that paper. And then I'm going to try to do my best to do a bow. And they're always fiddly for me. Bows are so fiddly. Okay, that's not too bad. I'm gonna go ahead and snip off the ends. And there you have it. You have a quick, easy little gift to give to someone. So I hope you found that enjoyable, and I hope you learned a lot. And go get some paper and do some crafting. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.